Moses' journey from a humble beginning in Egypt to leading his people to freedom is one filled with divine encounters, trials, and unwavering faith. His life story, marked by miraculous events and tense moments, is a testament to the power of destiny and the guiding hand of God. Moses was born during a time of great oppression. The Israelites, his people, were enslaved by the Egyptians. Pharaoh, fearing the growing numbers of the Israelites, decreed that every Hebrew male child must be thrown into the Nile River. Moses' mother, Jochebed, defied this order. She hid him for 3 months, and when she could no longer keep him hidden, placed him in a basket coated with pitch and set him adrift on the Nile, trusting in God's providence. Miraculously, Pharaoh's daughter found the baby while she was bathing in the river. She took pity on him, a crying infant, and decided to adopt him as her own. Thus, Moses was raised in the very palace of Pharaoh, surrounded by the luxuries and knowledge of Egyptian royalty, yet always aware of his true heritage. As Moses grew, the plight of his people weighed heavily on his heart. One fateful day, he witnessed an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. Overcome with anger, Moses killed the Egyptian and buried him in the sand, hoping no one saw. But the next day, he realized his act was known, and Pharaoh sought to kill him. Moses fled to the land of Midian, where he hoped to find peace and anonymity. In Midian, Moses built a new life. He married Zipporah, the daughter of Jethro, and became a shepherd. For 40 years, he tended flocks in the wilderness, content with his simple life. One day, while tending his sheep near Mount Horeb, Moses encountered a sight that would change his life forever, a bush engulfed in flames yet not consumed. As he approached, a voice called out to him, "Moses, Moses." It was the voice of God. He commanded Moses to remove his sandals, for he was standing on holy ground. God revealed to Moses his plan. He was to return to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of slavery. Moses protested, feeling inadequate and fearful, but God assured him, providing signs and miracles to convince him and promising that his brother Aaron would assist him. Reluctantly, Moses accepted the call. Returning to Egypt was daunting. Moses confronted Pharaoh, demanding, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hardened. To demonstrate God's power, a series of devastating plagues descended upon Egypt. The waters turned to blood, frogs, gnats, and flies infested the land, livestock died, boils afflicted the people, hail rained down, locusts devoured crops, darkness shrouded the land, and finally, the death of the firstborn sons. The last plague broke Pharaoh's resistance. He finally relented and the exodus began. But their journey was fraught with peril. Pharaoh's army pursued them to the Red Sea. With nowhere to turn, Moses raised his staff as God commanded, and the waters parted, allowing them to cross on dry land. When the Egyptians followed, the waters returned, swallowing Pharaoh's forces. Freedom, however, brought new challenges. The wilderness tested their faith and obedience. The people often grumbled, longing for the comforts of Egypt. They faced hunger and thirst, but God provided manna from heaven and water from a rock. At Mount Sinai, Moses received the 10 Commandments, laws to guide them in their new life as a free nation. Yet even as Moses was on the mountain, the people below fashioned a golden calf, reverting to idolatry. In anger, Moses shattered the stone tablets. But God, ever merciful, renewed his covenant with them, and Moses ascended the mountain once more to receive the law. Despite their failings, God's promise remained. They wandered the wilderness for 40 years, a journey meant to refine them. As they neared the promised land, new challenges arose. Moses faced rebellion, doubt, and the burden of leadership. He struck a rock in anger to bring forth water, an act of disobedience that cost him the privilege of entering the promised land himself. But Moses saw it from Mount Nebo, the land flowing with milk and honey, the fulfillment of God's promise. He passed his leadership to Joshua, who would lead their people into this new chapter. Moses' life, marked by divine encounters and miraculous deliverance, stands as a testament to God's power and faithfulness. From a basket on the Nile to the wilderness of Sinai, his journey has been one of transformation and purpose. He was called to be a deliverer, to lead his people from bondage to freedom, a journey that required faith, courage, and unwavering trust in God. As we look back, we see that every trial and triumph was part of a divine plan, a plan that continues to unfold through the ages. Moses' story is a reminder that with God, nothing is impossible, and every life has a purpose beyond what we can imagine.